this Keystone presentation, would you please make sure you have a pink sheet of paper and pencil somewhere near you under the seats? Later. This is also my third year doing Keystone, and I have to thank the Keystone cops, Ms. Ben David, Dr. Ayers, Rabbi Layton, for always assigning me a student who makes me look terrific. I'm blessed that way. First it was Ruth Hollander with Lord of the Rings, well, Lord of the Rings. Then it was Zoe Camille with theater, and Evan Feiner with magic. Who doesn't love magic? And then what to make of Hannah Feiner walking into my office earlier this year with a topic and a TED Talk. She was already going on her research. I'm like, okay, I'll just sit back and watch her work. Great. She really is truly dedicated to this topic. Before she was even born, dating myself, I got a master's in education with a focus on creativity and learning. And the topic at that time was creativity and education. I can totally help with this. I was no help at all. So she doesn't really need any introduction from me. Here's a young lady who's going to make me look like I know what I'm doing.
Welcome to my Keystone. My name is Feiner, you all know probably. Today we'll be talking about playground design, risky play, and its effect on child development. And we're used to seeing playgrounds that look like this, that look like this, and that look like this. But rarely do we see any playgrounds that look like this, or like this. So today I'll be talking about why it is that we don't see more untraditional playground settings and the importance of risky play environments for children. So take the next minute to brainstorm with the person next to you all the things you can do with a paper plate on the piece of paper that you have.
Do you know what I mean when I say stab?
Okay, everyone please stop working. Now raise your hand if between you and the person next to you, you got more than 5 things on that card.
Yeah.
Great. Keep your hand raised if you got more than 10. More than 15?
We didn't write all of them down.
Okay, well that's it. Well, a study, this is called the Alternative Uses Test. It was created in 1967 to test divergent thinking, which is one's ability to think outside the box, think in grays versus black and whites. And depending on the creativity of the answers you gave and how many answers you gave, you were given a different score. Now, what % of kindergartners do you think were scored as geniuses at divergent thinking?
80.
Guesses?
50%.
98%. 5 years later, the same group of kindergartners were tested, and what % were still geniuses? 50%. And the trend continues, as you may already have thought. Kids' imaginations and ability to think creatively and in creative ways is incredible. And therefore, I think that it's even more important to create environments where they can foster that creativity and that imagination. So I began this process by thinking about creativity in the classroom. Creative teaching styles and also self-directed learning. But then I realized that the best form of self-directed learning in many ways is the playground. Because on the playground you learn life skills, you learn how to overcome challenges, overcome fears, is the importance of playground design for children. I'm going to look at two alternative playgrounds. The first is called The Land. It's in northern Wales. And it was founded by a woman named Kathy Griffiths in 2006. And in many ways, it looks like a junkyard, but it has a lot more of a mission, and it has a lot of goals in mind for the benefits of risky play for children. So here's a quick clip from the video. I heard some noise when he was actually using the saw, and he was using it incorrectly, and there was a lot, like it could have slipped. But I just want to point out that after doing it like that, he saw that it wasn't working, or it wasn't the correct way to be using the saw, and he put it flat on the surface and corrected the way that he was doing it in order to get a better outcome. Here are two quotes from Claire Griffiths that I think really capture the mission at the Land playground. The first is, I wanted to compensate for the lack of wild play and adult-free experiences. I wanted something kids could make up and break up and rediscover every visit. The Land is fantastic, but in an ideal world, there wouldn't be a fence around it. Children would be able to do all the things they do there without having to open and close a gate. I think that these quotes also are very relevant to the next playground that we're going to be looking at, which is right across the bay in Berkeley. I went there as a child. It's the Adventure Playground. And we're going to be listening to an NPR clip from an NPR radio talk called Where the Wild Things Play. It's just about 2 minutes, and then this is a separate YouTube video that's going to be playing at the same time behind it, but the two don't go together. It's just so you can see kind of what the playground looks like.
NPR's Eric Westervelt takes us to Berkeley, California, and one of the few adventure playgrounds in the nation.
9-year-old Ethan Lipsy clutches a framing hammer and a 9-penny nail. He's ready to hang his freshly painted sign on a wooden fork.
Said Ethan, Hudson, and William were here. There's a lot of things that kids built, and that kid built, not adults doing the work, it's kids doing the work.
That could be the motto of Berkeley's Adventure Playground. There's a semi-orderly, beachside junkyard feel here. Nothing fancy or slick. It's a half-acre of dirt and quirky chaos hugging the Berkeley Marina on San Francisco Bay. Kids, grab a bucket and brush. You can paint on almost anything here except each other. Grab some wood and nails. It's hammer time.
And there you go, it's slide on and I'll push it down the slide. Yay!
12-year-old Parker Swenson and his 7-year-old cousin Tyler eye the long blue plastic tubes. They climb inside, perfect for barreling down the hill here into the dirt.
Whoa! That was so awesome. I'm going again.
Nearby, 4-year-old Braden Swenson wanders into an improvised wooden shed, continuing his exhaustive search for gold and treasure.
Is there any treasure on here? I'm looking everywhere for them. And I can't find any. Is there any around here anywhere?
In an era of padded playgrounds and helicopter parenting, the Berkeley Adventure Playground stands out.
Okay, enough work. It's time to play. I'm going to ride the zip line while recording myself. What could possibly go wrong? Any advice?
Point your feet towards the dirt so that the sand doesn't get in your underwear. Okay,
All right, thanks, man. Eric Westervelt, NPR News, Berkeley Adventure Playground. Whoa!
So I just want to point out one of the main things that we heard in both videos is this theme of empowerment. And through the child's ability to actually create their own playground and create their vision for their playground and what they're playing on, they actually make their own rules and make their own suggestions to this man who's going down the zip line. And the Adventure Playground in Berkeley is way more managed than what you saw in the land video. They actually have a whole system of, if you bring in rusty nails or nails that poke out of wood, you get extra tools, and it's kind of this benefit system that encourages kids to be safe while still being in this more risky environment and play setting. But another common thread between these two playgrounds is the incredible pushback that it receives from adults and parents for being too dangerous. Now the debate is with safety legislation on the one hand, and the benefits of risky play for child development on the other. But what is risky play? Norwegian studies in schools, because in Norway they have a lot of these alternative playgrounds, define risky play as containing any of these 6 elements. Dangerous tools, heights, speed, disappearing and getting lost, rough and tumble. So what do kids gain from risky play? The first thing that kids gain from risky play is self-directed executive functioning skills. Now these skills are what help a child to think independently, move quickly between 2 different subject areas or activities, and planning and decision making. These are skills that are essential throughout all of your life, and today the simplest things like putting on a jacket when you're in the house and you see that it's cold outside is not something so simple for a child. And executive functioning skills for a child will help them both keep in mind that it's a goal to stay warm outside, even though they're still in the house where it's warm, and that they must change their normal behavior in order to put on a coat, whereas normally you might just put on pants and a shirt. And those simple steps that we've now learned how to overcome that, for children it's very, these are the things that they have problems that they struggle with, and these skills are developed right around the ages of 3 to 6, as you can see here, and which is why it's so important to foster this growth. Secondly, introducing risky play at a young age actually leads to having less phobias later in life. Those who learn to overcome fears as a child are less likely to have those fears as an adult. An example of that are fears of heights, or fears of going upside down, as I have in roller coasters. Because I didn't overcome that fear as a child, I actually have that fear, and it's kind of amplified as a teenager, and will continue probably as an adult. Parents' number one fear, however, is that their child will get injured. What they don't know is that injury has little to do with the playground design, and everything to do with each child's personal risk perception. In fact, a child that's constantly at an anxious parent's side